MacVoices is sponsored by Smile and Text Expander, the utility that turns your keystrokes into words, sentences, paragraphs, and more. Text Expander snippets can be synced and used in any application on both Mac, iOS, and now even Windows. Find out more, including how Text Expander can work for your team, at smilesoftware.com. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices in San Jose at AltConf and WWDC. Stephen and I met yesterday when we were among the first in line for AltConf. I don't know why we felt it was necessary, but we did, and we were there, and we had a good time. Stephen, it's great to see you.
It's good to see you too, Chuck.
Again.
Yes.
And this time not nearly as early.
No, and not nearly as confused.
Yeah, there was a little bit of confusion, but we got there. We got there.
And we got to meet each other and talk because of it too. Yeah. So that's an awesome thing.
For several hours we got to talk.
We did. We got to know each other pretty well.
Yeah. So for the folks that didn't get to stand in line with us for a couple hours, what do you do?
I'm the head of mobile development at Event Farm down in Santa Monica. It's an event marketing platform for large companies to do their events.
Okay, now that sounds really intriguing. And for folks, no, I'm serious. For folks that don't know what an event platform is, what is an event platform and what can it do if my company is going to have an event?
Sure. So if you're throwing events, every event is a marketing opportunity. So usually you're trying to obtain clients or expand existing contracts or whatnot. So you have your event to bring them in the room to either talk about new features or talk about new things that you can offer them or whatnot. But that's tough. I mean, that's usually not necessarily your job, or there's just so much complexity to it that you need a little help. And so oftentimes our platform solves the pain of organizing an event. So that's like your attendee management stuff, getting creating the event list, or at least the guest list, sending the invitations out, getting RSVPs, all that. That's all attendee management. Then when you get the door, you want to make sure you get the right people in the room. So there's got to be some sort of access control there, which would be like a check-in app. That's one of the things that I work on most of the time. So there's a check-in app at the door. And then when they get in the event, sometimes you want to show off your technology or your product in a cool way. And that's where we've got something called EFX, which is our in-event technology, experiential technology. We do some cool stuff with RFID, and it's kind of fun. And then afterwards, you want to take all that data and do something like that and attribute revenue to the event. Like, we threw this event, it costs X amount of money, and did we get anything out of it? Not only that, maybe these events work better than these other events, and stuff like that. So that's what we try to do, is we provide that kind of data to our clients, and it's worked. We've got Google as a client, Facebook as a client, Disney, Lamborghini, Ferrari, big names. It's sweet working for a company like that.
I mean, it sounds good, and it's obviously for a larger company. So given all the sophistication you just described, I don't know if it's fair to say how small a company does it make sense for, but I mean, how far down would you take it? Okay, I'll ask it this way. How much money do I need to invest to have it make sense for you to do a good job for me and my company?
You are asking extreme marketing level questions. I do the code.
Oh, you do the code, okay.
But I know that we operate with the larger companies. We are a SaaS-based company, and we tend to work with the larger companies. That's not to say that your company wouldn't work for us too, or we wouldn't work for you. But it really depends. It depends on how much you value your events and how many events you're doing. So it really depends.
So what are you doing here? What? No, I meant by that. Yeah, that did sound a little shaky. Yeah, you just.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't have anything to do with it.
Yeah. No, are you here primarily to get educated, to see what the new stuff is and talk to the Apple engineers, or just try to network and interact with the community?
Mainly the latter, but in general, because like the other stuff I can learn on the news, right? Like I can watch the the videos afterwards and whatnot. But I came here 2 years ago, and I was an independent app developer at the time. I had my own company, and this was just like meeting everyone, networking with everyone. It really was the impetus to get out on my own and to find something bigger. And that's why I was working for the Navy at the time, and I end up coming out here it's not here, but down to Santa Monica, and working for Event Farm. And I had such a great time last time and met so many wonderful people that I made it a priority to come again. And I intend to come here every year. I missed it last year. I was working on a major project, but I intend to keep coming because I get to meet wonderful people like yourself.
We talked about this with several guests, and both on and off camera, that once you come to one of these things, whatever pushes you out, once you get here, you don't want to miss anymore because it is so much fun. You learn so much. You meet so many great people. I'm not a coder, and I go back like emotionally recharged by being around these fantastic people.
Oh yeah. And I love coming to AltConf. WWDC is really awesome. You get to hear like all the new stuff that's coming out, and you get to see all the cool goodies that they give you. At least as a developer, all the frameworks and whatnot. You get to play with them first. But you hear one voice at WW. And I love coming to AltConf because you get to hear the community's voice, like everyone who's involved here, and like what are the major players actually doing with Apple's frameworks? Are people using Metal? That was actually a question that Apple asked at the keynote. Well, I may have been State of the Union. How many people are actually using Metal? And there weren't many hands that went up. The reality is the community works in different ways, and Apple tries to give us stuff that we'll use, but here is where we talk about what we actually use and how we use it. And best practices is the thing that I wanted to grab out of this as well.
Interesting distinction that what they want you to use, what they give you to use, may not necessarily be what you use. And that's probably true of all of us. If the tool fits, then yeah, you jump on it. But if it doesn't, you go looking for another solution.
Absolutely. Yep.
Fascinating. So where do folks find you? Where do you have a website, or are you just social media presences?
I'm getting more involved on Twitter. I used to be pretty terrible at that, so I do have a Twitter handle. It's at SWBerard. My company's website, I still have my own company. It's Byteware Apps, so bytewareapps.com. But that's kind of, we haven't put much effort into the website very much.
It's okay. Yeah, you're busy with other things.
It's true, absolutely.
And the Event Farm website is?
Eventfarm.com.
Perfect. Stephen, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for the time.
Before we go, I need to talk about the meetups.
The meetups. I'm sorry, I forgot the meetups. Goodness.
Because this is another reason I'm here is because I've gotten so involved with the community down in LA. Actually, it's getting to be around the world. So I partnered up with Garrick with SwiftCoders. So if you ever heard the SwiftCoders podcast, Garrick is a buddy of mine that I met at a meetup in Los Angeles, and he got me to create with him the Learn Swift LA series of meetups, and now that's going global. We just got one in Milan, I believe one in Tokyo. I'm missing out on all the really cool ones that are coming out, but we actually have a meetup here tomorrow at AltConf, so Wednesday at lunchtime, and we've already got 150 people signed up to come. So I think that's incredible.
That is incredible. So, with 150 people, where have you done something formal, or is it just okay? We're going to get together at this spot and go. Oh,
you're putting me on the spot there. And actually, Garrick put me on the spot the other day. He looked at me and said, "So we said we're going to do this thing. What are we going to do?" So I think you're all in for a real treat because we'll figure that out tonight.
That is part of the fun of this, I think, is, that ideas get floated, and some of them catch, some of them maybe not so much, or some of them are just so niche that they're never going to catch a whole lot, but you still get people together.
Absolutely. And I think, who was it that said it? I think it was Ish who said this. You just can't be afraid to put yourself out there, Hey, we didn't know what we were going to do going into it, but we committed to it, and we're doing it, and we got 150 people that are going to be there, or we'll see how many show up, but there's going to be a good chunk of those that show up, and it's going to be exciting no matter what. And the best part is the networking aspect, and hopefully this will result in even more SwiftCoders meetups around the globe.
Great. Well, thank you. Is there an organized website or something for this? I want to make sure we give credit to that.
Absolutely. SwiftCoders.com. And I believe that's the best place. There's also the SwiftCoders Podcast. So that's on Overcast. It's on Apple Podcasts. There's probably other places. Whatever your podcast player of choice, you can find it there. But yes, SwiftCoders.com. You can find all the info for everything.
Excellent. Anything else that I've forgotten?
No, I think that's about it.
Stephen, thanks so much.
Thanks, Chuck.
Folks, we've had way too much fun with this. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Back with more soon from AltConf and WWDC. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com. In 3, 2, 1. Yeah.